She is a peasant. She is a student. She is a soldier. She is a goddess. When Ren aced the Keju, the empire-wide test to find the most talented youth to study at the academics, it was a shock to everyone. To the test officials, who couldn't believe a war orphan from Rooster Province could pass without cheating, to Ren's guardians, who had always thought they'd be able to marry Ren off to further their criminal enterprise, and to Ren herself, who realized she was now finally free of the servitude and despair that it made up her daily existence. That she got into Sangard, the most elite military school in the Nakara Empire, was even more surprising. But surprises aren't always good. Being a dark-skinned peasant girl from the south is not an easy thing at Sangard. Ren is targeted from the outset by rival classmates because of her color, poverty, and gender. Driven to desperation, she discovers she possesses a lethal, unearthly power, an aptitude for the nearly mythical art of shamanism. Exploring the depths of her gift with the help of a seemingly insane teacher and psychoactive substances, Ren learns that gods long thought dead are very much alive, and that mastering control over her powers could mean more than just surviving school. For even though the Nakara Empire is at peace, the Federation of Mujin still lurks across the narrow sea. The militarily advanced Federation occupies the Nakara Empire for decades after the First Poppy War, and only barely lost the continent in the Second. And while most of the people in the Empire would rather forget their painful history, a few are aware that a Third Poppy War is just a spark away. Ren's shamanic powers may be the only way to save her people, but as she finds out more about the god who has chosen her, the vengeful Phoenix, she fears that winning the war may cost her humanity, and it may already be too late. If that book description sounds like something you might be interested in, just keep watching. What up, nerds? Welcome back to the Nerdy Narrative. My name is Leslie Smith, and today's book therapy chat is going to be about The Poppy War by R F Kuang. The Poppy War first came out in 2015. It is published by Harper Voyager, which is an imprint of HarperCollins. It's about 530 pages. They don't all go by fast. I will be completely honest with you there. The story is amazing. It takes unexpected turns. There are times you literally cannot put it down, but it does have about 3 good sections that are just boring. So how I finally came to read this book. It's been on my TBR for a while. I have seen so many people reading it on Twitter over the last few months. A bunch of my booktube buddies have read it or are reading it. So it was on my radar, but it was low in priority until I saw that it would fulfill a prompt for my Bookie Mind readathon that took place in May. I really didn't know a lot about it. I judged it by its cover and it's like, okay, the Poppy War, this person has a bow and arrow. We're gonna have some fighting, right? We're gonna have a war. So I was like, it's gonna be probably an educational, historical type novel. And that wasn't it. The main character in this story is Ren. She's a war orphan who has been adopted by some really horrible people. They're actually drug dealers. And of course, they've got Ren neck deep in the drug business with them. So their idea was, once she got to an age, they were going to sell her off to this really wealthy guy who was going to purchase Ren, who evidently had a thing for little girls. Fortunately for Ren, she passed this exam called the Keju, where you're tested on the 4 noble subjects: history, math, logic, and the classics. It's a very difficult test, and Ren actually passes. She is ecstatic. That is what she wanted. She's gonna get to go to like this really elite military school. She's like, whoo, got my ticket up out of here. She gets there, and that is not the case. She is looked down upon because she's darker skinned than the other students. She's an orphan, she's poor. So Ren just decides, I just need to focus and do really well in these classes and make sure I get to stay at the end of my first year and be chosen as an apprentice to one of the masters. So you're probably thinking to yourself, is this a Chinese Harry Potter? No, because while it kind of has that feel of a teenager who's chosen to go to this elite school and learn this cool stuff, it's very serious and it has some super dark parts of it. But it also has some aspects that really, really surprised me, like the shamanism. I was not expecting how the author was going to illustrate how I was not expecting the avenues with which the author was going to take to build that part of the story. I loved it, but it's also confusing to me because the shamans used psychedelic drugs to basically get to the state where they could contact their god, and I'm just like, you know, were they just high and they thought they were doing something special? Did it really happen? I don't know, but for the sake of enjoyment of the story, I'm gonna believe that they did, that they weren't just high. It just helped them get to the state where they could commune with their god and take action. It really is a page turner. It does have a few spots in it that are boring, that I just felt sluggish and bogged down with too much information to keep me interested. But it's still so very good. I learned a lot. I am completely ignorant of Chinese culture and history, so I don't know if some of this is actual history that she just infused with fiction or not. I hope that it is infused with historical facts, because if so, I learned a lot of stuff that is just really, really cool, especially about martial arts. I thoroughly enjoyed this book. I think you would enjoy reading it. Just be forewarned, there is a war that takes place, obviously the Poppy War. There's just some really graphic instances that take place during this war that the author put there. She didn't gloss over it. She didn't allude. She put it out there. It's a war. This is what happened. I had a hard time with it, but I understand why it was there. War is not glorious, and there's a lot of bad things that happen that these soldiers witness and endure, and they bring that back with them. And I wonder if the author put that there because she's saying, hey, knucklehead, this stuff happens. These are what your peers experience when they go off to war. You need to have some compassionate understanding for why they may not be okay afterwards. I appreciate why I think that it was there. Should you read it? Yes. Please read this book. And then I want you to come down in my comments and I want you to talk to me about it. I know Joe from Joe's Reviews Journal is currently reading it this month. I'm really looking forward to hearing what he thinks about it. It's so interesting to me how different people can read the same book and have different mindsets and perspectives. So I really, really enjoy talking about books with other people who've read them. So if you read this book, get on down to my comments. Tell me what you think about what happened. I look forward to talking to you about it and hearing what you thought about it. I'm really excited to read the second book. I'm gonna have to try and pick that one up soon. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Have a fantastic rest of your day. I will see you soon.